Here are more data science vocabulary terms with examples. Artificial neural network, ANN, a computational model inspired by the human brain that consists of interconnected nodes, neurons, used for machine learning tasks. Example: building a deep artificial neural network to recognize handwritten digits in images. Bag of words, BO, a technique in natural language processing where text data is represented as a collection of words, ignoring grammar and word order. Example: creating a BO representation of a document by counting the frequency of each word. Chi-square test, a statistical test used to determine the independence of two categorical variables. Example: conducting a chi-square test to assess if there is a significant relationship between gender and product preference in a survey. Principal component analysis, PCA, a dimensionality reduction technique used to transform data into a lower dimensional space while preserving as much variance as possible. Example: applying PCA to reduce the dimensions of a dataset containing features like height, weight, and age. Text classification, the process of assigning predefined categories or labels to text documents based on their content. Example: categorizing news articles into topics such as politics, sports, or entertainment. Bias variance decomposition, the breakdown of a model's error into bias, systematic error, and variance, random error, components. Example: analyzing a regression model's performance by decomposing its error into bias and variance contributions. LDA, latent Dirichlet allocation, a topic modeling technique used to discover topics in a collection of documents. Example: applying LDA to identify themes or topics in a large collection of online forum posts. Cluster analysis, a statistical technique used to group similar data points into clusters or segments based on similarity. Example: using cluster analysis to segment customers into groups with similar purchase behaviors for targeted marketing. Gradient boosting machine, GBM, an ensemble learning technique that builds a strong predictive model by combining the predictions of multiple weak models. Example: implementing a gradient boosting machine to predict housing prices based on various features like location, square footage, and amenities. SVD, singular value decomposition, a dimensionality reduction technique used in matrix factorization and recommendation systems. Example: applying SVD to decompose a user-item interaction matrix in a movie recommendation system. Random sampling, the process of selecting a subset of data points from a larger dataset without any specific order or pattern. Example: randomly selecting a sample of 100 customers from a database of 1,000 for a customer satisfaction survey. Interpolation, a technique for estimating values between known data points based on mathematical or statistical methods. Example: using linear interpolation to estimate the temperature at a specific time between two recorded measurements. Data pipeline, a series of data processing steps and transformations applied to raw data to prepare it for analysis or modeling. Example: creating a data pipeline that extracts, transforms, and loads data from various sources into a centralized database. Autoencoder, a neural network architecture used for unsupervised learning and dimensionality reduction by learning a compact representation of input data. Example: training an autoencoder to compress and reconstruct images for image denoising. Turing test, a test of a machine's ability to exhibit human-like intelligence, typically in natural language conversation. Example: assessing a chatbot's performance by having a human judge interact with it and determine if they can distinguish it from a human. Natural language generation, NLG, a technology that generates human-readable text from structured data. Example: using NLG to automatically generate product descriptions from product specifications. F1 score, a metric used to evaluate the balance between precision and recall in classification tasks. Example: calculating the F1 score to assess the performance of a model for identifying fraudulent transactions. Outlier detection, the process of identifying data points that deviate significantly from the majority of data points in a dataset. Example, detecting anomalies in network traffic data to identify potential cyber attacks. Confidence interval, a range of values that is likely to contain the true population parameter with a certain level of confidence. Example, calculating a 95% confidence interval for the average response time of a website based on a sample of user interactions. Naive Bayes classifier, a probabilistic classification algorithm based on Bayes' theorem, often used in text classification tasks. Example, building a naive Bayes classifier to classify emails as spam or not spam based on the frequency of words.